Battle
Alright,
started.
here we go. Welcome back, ladies and brobots, to today's exciting match on Tartar Steppe. And I don't know if you've ever had tartar before, but I'm kind of a big fan. Sometimes. Tartar sauce on some nice, deep fried fish, goodies like that. But hey, as delicious as all that is, I know that we're here for some robot-y goodness. So let's kick it off with our good pal Polygon. Now you're gonna notice right away that this is a pretty high tier game. We've got most people are in the mid to upper 30s or more. We've got stud Polygon kicking it off for the red side at 43 open skill for Armada today. And then on the opposite side of the map, we have 8D. So right off the bat, we have this intense lane matchup here where we're gonna have the two top players squaring off against each other. So that should make for some exciting gameplay, and I hope you're excited to see it too. So far, let's check in with a couple other folks here. Now, large fish going bots. This is kind of an interesting map to go bots on. I mean, you can go bots on any map, but this one, given that it is largely as flat as it is, that means that your vehicles are going to kind of take advantage of being able to traverse that a little quicker. However, I'm not sure actually if the vehicles can still go through the tar, or if they do, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can see tank speeds go down to 75%, bot speeds go to 85%. So the bots do still have an advantage even when it comes to crossing the tar. We have Ape, another classic. This guy is he's a great player, honestly. And he is kicking it off with a bunch of these little ticks to try and get some fast scouting. Hopefully assault God hates cowards down here on core. And ideally try and target some of the backline stuff. He's going to be shooting to try and get some of the metal extractors and wind turbines, ideally, but let's just check in from his vision perspective and see what we're seeing. Oh, actually, let's just go with the player view there. So here comes the scouting info. You'll see similar stuff coming in above there, also from, I believe that is large fish on the upper part of the map. And here we go. Early game ticks can get so much value. It's actually kind of crazy how much they get. Over here, more battles taking place, or at least just kind of dances back and forth. Like with pro level plays, you're gonna see that a lot of the time they're able to micro all this stuff while still building back at their base and everything else. It really is one of the step ups. Like to me, this is something I've heard Brightworks talk about a fair bit. You know, how do you measure a pro play? To me, it really comes down to, can you kind of be in those two places at once? Do you have the APM to manage units in a very productive way while still keeping your eco scaling going and not falling behind? Because that is one of the most important things. So, looking around up here, does seem like 8D is getting that line ready. You'll notice that he's actually queued up build turrets up here. Very interesting. Early build turrets are very strong, and repair, if you didn't know, is always free. So it doesn't cost you any energy, any metal, and it's basically just extra health for your units if you have the APM. So again, APM being the third or fourth resource in the game, next to, of course, build power and a few other things. Oh, there we go. Still kind of... Yeah, we're starting to see the lines begin to form here. Now, this is already only 3 minutes and 28 seconds. It takes no time for these pro-level players to really get into it. Oh, that's going to be a snipe to X, but the commander should be able to pretty easily clean that up. Now, had that actually self-detonated, let's find another one. Wow. Polygon is not having a good time here. They went for a kind of a greedier start, and you're seeing that they're going to pay for it. As we go down the line, Unicorn Cats sneaking up here quite far. It is good to see them getting out, but at the same time, it would be nice to see a little bit more kind of like holding the lines down closer to the midpoint, but they've been dealing with a lot of incursions into their base, which is why we're so far back there at the moment. You can see that the Life is up here trying to do some stuff too. Lots of things going on from Flems, who's again getting ready to hopefully set up some kind of a preliminary defense. Usually by about the 5-minute mark is where you're going to see a lot more of this stuff, but again, in these pro games, the aggression and the pacing is just a little bit different. They're going to be coming in and pushing you a lot harder. They're not going to be giving you time to get to the front if you're late. You really have to be there, and then kind of, sometimes what you'll see the pros do is they'll do this. So you can see Unicorn is up here, but they have actually left these mexes in behind them open. And part of the reason that they do that is because it's always easier to what's called like back cap your mexes than it is to try and push up and establish a line if you have nothing ahead of it. And in the time it takes you to get up there, Irish Stud, for example, could have pushed in and actually denied more of that territory. So it's better to try and push up, get control of the front, and then follow up with your other constructors in behind you. There's different strategies. Some people would say just focusing on the earlier metal first, you know, and then just focus on units to try and hold the line, particularly if you're playing a faction like Armada, where you're able to use some nice D-guns there from Flem. Now this could be trouble here. Those grunts are getting the surround bonus. And if he's not careful, see, this is the thing, it doesn't take much to really take down a comm with some good surround bonuses, and there it is! Holy cow, folks. I'm pretty sure that's our first calm down for the match, and Grizzly is going to be eating up all that metal with very little to contest it, frankly. Although Choose might come in and, or Chaos it? Chaos it? Or Choused? Kind of hard to tell on that one. But yeah, so Grizzly's going to be snatching all that up, and hopefully we'll see that investment turn into something cool. Although at this time it looks like they're just going to go for a few more units. That's okay, you'll see that their lab is on repeat on, so they are focused on just getting the unit aggression out there. Plus he still has plenty of metal in the bank to maybe do a T2 transition. Now in a map like this, like Tartar Steppes and things, you'll see that there isn't really like a dedicated eco player per se. Every player is sort of on their own and for themselves, and so they have to manage their own tech transitions. And for that reason, particularly in a pro game like this, it'll be kind of rare to see T2 come out too quickly. Oh, see, that's kind of a missed opportunity here. If that were me, I would have focused down just those energy converters and gone for that pop, which would have taken out the con, maybe the energy storage, and then you might have still had an opportunity to go into those wind turbines, but that's not going to be an option today. Now, missile bots here versus the maces or thugs, you really have to take advantage of the extended range on these, because they can actually out-trade with these units, particularly if they're not being microed. So I feel like right here is a bit of a misplay. It would have been great to get a lot of free damage on these maces, whereas now you're probably going to end up having to fight those with grunts. Plus now they're going to be reinforced by this army of ticks here, which, if they're not careful, yeah, see, part of why he was moving this up here was to try and make sure that there was something else holding the line. The enemy has correctly spotted that there was a sort of a gap in those defenses, and I feel like I'm going to sneeze any second. I'm going to try and spray your friend with them. The beauty of directional microphones. For those that didn't know, I actually record all of these in one go. No edits. So one single take. You're welcome. We're doing it live all the time. And here we go. Those have managed to break through, and what a breakthrough it is. If they keep going, now, okay, this is also sort of a misplay in my opinion. Just because you can surround a medium tank and kill it with these ticks, it would have been way more value to just ignore the medium tank entirely, always push for the backbone. My personal philosophy, again, there's a lot of different ways to play Bar, but I see the idea is to only attack other units when you can't get to a base. Like, you're attacking other units so that you can find a hole, break through, and get back and do some kind of economic damage. Because that economic damage, like say that it had been able to get those wind turbines, which would have changed because they're in a set of 3, would have a lot more value than taking out, say, one medium tank, which you can always out-trade on the front. Oh, Ape's in trouble here. Oh, and he's chosen to go for the self-detonation, which is an interesting choice. I will give him that. But he otherwise would have nothing to have countered that army, so it makes sense. This being said, it's really not looking good here. He's sitting on way too much metal because he doesn't have enough build power and either had forgotten to micro back at his base, or I'm honestly not sure what's going on and how these guys got this much of a differential here, but you can see that Green or Irish Stud has come down and is actually backing him up, which could be making all the difference here. God Hates Cowards pushing ahead, and he kind of recognizes that this is just kind of a feint and is going to push forward and try and get that reclaim, or potentially degun them down. I'm surprised he didn't degun the wreck. Interesting. But also, against just grunts, he's not wrong to place this LLT down. I would have been maybe a little more aggressive and put it up closer to secure that reclaim, because now, as you see, it's actually given Ape a chance to eat his calm, though he's not really doing anything with that 3,000 metal. It's definitely a shame that he hasn't either tried to go for a T2 or you know, just added even more build power or done something really, but I'm sure he has a plan for that metal. Meanwhile, God Hates Cowards is definitely taking advantage of the momentum swing and is going to be going into T2. Oh, we got some bombing runs over here. Someone made a little air swap, it looks like him, I would say. Yep. A sneaky little, and the thing is, by midpoint into the game, it's not that crazy to actually go for. You know, if you look at the cost of even a T1 air lab, you know, that's like 860 metal. I'm pretty sure that like a couple medium tanks or something like that would be almost the same. You can find some in the vehicle lab. Though again, it's kind of shocking to me that so few people are playing vehicles. Oh, these bombing runs. Are you real? It seems like it. Seems like it. Although, yeah, I gotta agree. I would have pulled that out by now and just gone somewhere else. They probably won't get another chance at a bombing run like that. However, this one's looking pretty good too. Still, they don't have good scouting yet, so it would have been great to see them make a few finches and then understand where those buildings were to really get the most value out of these bombers, but bombers in the backline are so mobile that they're very easily able to take out a lot of these like backline mexes and all of that and just really whittle away at the economy of the opposing team without really there being an answer for it. Going into the range of the bases at this point is what you don't want to do. 8D, oh, the absolute disrespect here of walking the comm into their base or de-gunning this stuff. I almost wouldn't mind seeing them do a capture command or something, just because like at this point when there's no units stopping you, there's no real reason to be doing de-guns because you could be either just reclaiming the whole base or capturing it. It does really seem to me like a bit of a mistake, if I'm being honest. But 8D has won a lot more games than I have. And is, in my opinion, he was one of the first players I ever saw to really do like crazy lab swaps and like frontline builds. I'm not saying he was the first, he's just one of the first that I had seen when I started watching replays, and I really appreciate it. What a great fight we got going on here. You're gonna see a lot of just grunts, and a few fiends can make a big impact though on a grunt ball anytime you're grouped up. Having some thugs, anything with like some small AoE would be huge. But this is why spreading your units out in a line, or ideally in like kind of a concave like this, is an even better way to like maximize the value of these units. They're not going to have a lot of opportunity against shurikens though, because after that first bombing run, it looks like Zydeco has switched into an air lab of their own, and the shurikens are quite effective here right now. So they're knocking out a lot of the units that AD has sent. They've got to reclaim all this stuff though, because we're looking at almost 3k or more metal just lying around waiting to be scooped. Actually, way more than that, I missed this little patch. So this is a huge play. Now Polygon, even though they lost that upper base, you can see they're resilient and they've gone straight into a T2 down here, as in their front lab, which has some pretty stalwart defenses. And I think they're going to be just fine, frankly. This is kind of cheeky too, going in with the shurikens to paralyze the base structures. This would be, yeah, these are big picks. If they can kind of paralyze those and then pop them, it would be huge. But I think they're going to focus right now on just pushing around behind them. It's risky to leave 8D alone back there, because remember, even though this base is cut off, it doesn't really matter. Your economy is spread out across all your buildings, so just by being isolated like that, it's still an access to their backline, and then suddenly now they're going to be having to fight on 2 fights. Plus, when AD starts coming down this way, against someone who's primarily swapped into air, he's not going to be facing a lot of resistance. Over here we do start to see the beginnings of a T2 battle, which is exciting. We love that. Oh, somebody lost his Nice that. Nice to see. Abe, I often make the joke that the number of times that Abe says gaming or gaming in a game is a good indicator of how well it's going and also how likely they are. Just a little something to watch out for here playing against it. The cool thing about Bar is that it has such a small community that you can actually really get to know the people you're playing with pretty regularly and start to take notice of like the quirks and all that stuff, which can be really fun. I think so anyway, but I find the psychology of the players and the people almost as interesting as the games. I know we're a little ways into the match already, but I wanted to take a second just to kind of give you some small insight as to why I haven't put out too many videos lately. I kind of got in a mental rut where I was like, you know, I was waiting for the perfect game. I really appreciated all the feedback I've been getting and comments from everyone, and all these medium tanks. And I don't think they're going to get the value they're looking for here. There's just too many build turrets, so if you don't focus those build turrets first, you're going to be able to out-repair, and now all those medium tanks have turned into a donation. Playing vehicles is really tricky because for assault raids, it really punishes you for failing yourselves more. And anywho, I really want to bring you guys the best games possible, and so I was kind of getting in my own head about like trying to find like the absolute best games to showcase for you. And unlike a lot of the bigger folks who do the replay reviews and things, I don't have anyone sending me replays just yet, so if I don't watch the game, I don't get to see it. And it's a lot harder for one person to go watch everything. Oh no! They countered that fusion. And these little ticks are going to be causing some chaos here. Oh, they could have gone a little more, like, if they had shaped this around, they could have got a better surround bonus on that. Might have been able to bring it down. I don't mind this, though. I don't mind them swapping, because you're still going to get more value. Oh, wind turbines. So deadly for ticks. People don't realize just how explosive these are. Even when they're in a single wind turbine, it has a huge explosion radius. Oh my gosh, this 3 gold star general tick. Oh, you hate to see it. But again, they were focusing this when they could have focused these, and if we look at that explosion radius, you can see that the chain damage from this might have been enough to actually take out that advanced construction bot. 8D's in a little bit of trouble up here. They've kind of overextended and been cut off for a little too long, and now they're going to pay for it. There goes the comm, and there goes pretty much everything they've built up over here. Sort of returning the landscape back to red, but the difference is that while red is taking a pretty big hit, all these mexes are unclaimed, and more than that, this whole time 8D has had nothing really impacting their economy. So, with the economy differentials here, it's going to mean that even though Polygon's making some great plays, denying a lot of the aggression that has been sent in, even if they take this out, 8D can just overwhelm them in sheer macro at this point. Looks like down here, God Hates Cowards is still slowly chipping away. Like, I'm kind of impressed also that 8th has been holding on. He's like, give me the reserves, I can come back. And I love that, by the way. I love when people don't give up in this game. Far more than almost any other game makes comebacks a reality. I'm gonna hopefully do some videos shortly on some of the mini games I've been playing where, you know, just come back from seemingly impossible situations. There is absolutely a tipping point, and I understand when people want to maximize their time, get the most games in, all of that stuff, but at the same time, you really need to never give up, never surrender, because it's going to build mental resiliency for you, it's going to make you a better bar player, and you're going to learn more from the games where you overcome that adversity. So I've got to stress that. It's true. I'm agreeing with myself here. Maces really don't have the same fear factor as thugs. They just, I don't know, they're a little more, I think it's because they're round, honestly. I know that's crazy, but just like them being, oh, nice Spybot connection. See, that is lovely to see. People often forget about using Spybots to help equalize the terrain. Like, you can see that massive army got shut down. If they had had even just like 4 or 5 fiends that were maybe off to the side when they went to go do that Spybot detonation, then pushed in again, could have been huge value, taking out all that army almost for free. Especially if they had 2 Spybots, if they had blocked that whole thing. That is going to be the end of Polygon though, and with that, I think it's starting to spell the end of the game. It's going to be a bit of a rush, or a race at this point, because you've got God Hates Cowards chipping in this way. Honestly, I think they've built up a little bit too much. I don't see why they haven't been able to squash this yet and kind of push up through. Playing a little too passive is going to probably cost him the game. Because at this point, you know, Polygon's still micro these tanks, but this many grunts in the backline is almost surely going to shut down or cut the legs out from under God Hates Cowards pretty quickly, I'd say. Do we finally take these down? There we go. See, that's what we're talking about. Always target those energy converters. It's just such a way to get quick value. And as I said here, if they push quickly, they might have a chance. On one hand, like, you know, he's like, I see you playing super chill games. This was not a chill game. This was very much a lot of aggression, a lot of early game pushing. To be fair, this is at 19 minutes and 38 seconds. Gonna cap this one out for the blue team.
Battle
for
ended.
8D and his folks. But I just want to say thank you all for hanging out, and there's going to be lots more good things to come. Let's give you a quick shot of those statistics here. And I will see you all in the next one.